It's at around this time every year that the alder comes out into bloom, and we never miss an opportunity to go off and harvest some to make some elderflower presse. I'll show you some of the sights we see along the way on our way to the alder trees.
Into the house then.
It's fairly easy to identify what alder is, but if you've never made it before, then it's really important that you know what you're picking, because what you don't want to pick is something that could actually be poisonous. So this is alder. You can see that it's an established tree, this one, so it could be a small bush or it could be a big established tree. And you can see the white elderflower growing on the tree. It's a very woody type plant. Now this is a white flower, but this is definitely not alder. I think this one is actually cow parsley. Here's some more growing. Take note of the shape of the leaves. This is also something else that looks similar to cow parsley. I think this may be a poisonous plant. I think this may be hogweed. Again, take note of the shape of the leaves again. If that is hogweed, then it's extremely toxic as well. but it does kind of resemble elderflower, and it could be possible that you could mistake it for it and pick the wrong thing. The general rule of thumb is these plants grow out of the verges, so you'll see that that's growing in the verge, and it's just quite a small plant really, and that's alder over there, so that you can see that that's a big woody established tree and not just something that's growing in the grass verge. Another alder tree there. This is the foliage that the alder has, very distinctive, so that's another way of identifying it, how different that is to the other plants that I showed you earlier. Alder again. So when you're harvesting your alder, this is too young. This hasn't come into bloom, so you don't need to pick this. What you need is stuff in full bloom like this stuff here. Now this is in full bloom, and when this goes over it starts going brown. When it starts going brown you need to avoid picking that. You really want stuff that's fresh and in full bloom. To harvest enough elderflowers to make around 2 litres of cordial, you only need 20 heads, and it's not a big job to pick them at all. You can easily pick enough to do 1 or 2 batches in about 10 minutes. Plan to harvest your blooms shortly before you want to make your cordial, because the fresher the blooms are, the nicer the end product will be. As you're picking them, just give the blooms a quick shake just to remove any bugs that may be on there. You're going to filter it anyway later on, so it's not really important, but it just pays to remove anything loose that may be on there.
For 20 heads of elderflower, we need 1.8 kilos of granulated sugar, which is a lot of sugar. It looks like I've got even more because I'm going to be doing a double batch, so for the one batch of elderflower you need 1.2 litres of water, so tap water's fine. Okay, I've already put some in, and then we just need to put that on to boil. Oh my goodness, so heavy. While the sugar and water is coming to boil, you can measure out your citric acid. For that you need 75 grams, which I've just popped in a bowl. You also need 2 lemons, and if you just take the skin off, nothing too fancy. Something I forgot to mention is when you're buying your lemons, try and get the unwaxed lemons if you can. If you can't get those, just give them a really good scrub with some warm water before you use them. And then if you just top and tail the lemons, discarding those bits, and then just slice through them. Sugar and water has come to boil now, so all we need to do is add the elderflower that we picked earlier. If you notice, when we picked it we gave it all a shake to try and get rid of any bugs, so we're just going to pop that in there. Just be very, very careful because that is very, very hot. You don't want to be getting that on your skin. Just give it a little prod down into the syrup. And then we're going to add the lemon. Extra elderflower there. Give it another stir, just so it's all submerged. And then we're going to add the citric acid. Stir it in. And there we go. All we do now is cover it over and leave it for 24 hours to steep at room temperature. The cordial's had 24 hours now to steep, so we're going to strain it to get rid of all the lemon and elderflower that we don't no longer need. I always use this, I've got a big jelly bag, straining bag that I always use. I'm going to stretch it over the bowl and then just literally pour all of this, wow it's heavy, into here. And then that is all the elderflower cordial. You don't need to leave it very long to strain, just literally until it sort of stops dripping, and that'll be absolutely fine. Once it's all been strained, you can just start filling up any bottles you've got. This one's obviously a glass one. Sometimes we fill empty water bottles, so if you buy some still water from the supermarket, you can empty it out, and then the bottles are still sterilised, and you can put the cordial in there, and the cordial will keep a long time in the fridge, or you can freeze it if you want to. And there we go.